102.5 DVE, Jim Crenna and the DVE Morning Show, 921. I'm Randy Bauman. We are joined now on the phone by rock and roll legend, bassist for KISS, performing tonight at Post-Gazette Pavilion at Star Lake along with Skid Row and Ted Nugent, Mr. Gene Simmons.
Well, good morning.
Hey, Gene, how are you?
Well, it's a little bit wacko for me to be up at this hour, but I admire your, I don't know what it is that gets you up. What time do you guys get up?
Oh, about 4:30, 4:45.
It depends.
I haven't seen sunrise since I was, I don't know, since somebody was wiping for me. Way back.
I'm sure you've been awake long enough to see the sun come up a few times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, usually that's the case. Usually the case is, we get finished by 12 or 1, then you grab a bite, try to say hello to the local talent, because it's very important to improve the relationships between the cities, don't you see?
It's an always never-ending effort.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. And then you have breakfast, then you go to sleep.
So what is it like now compared to how it used to be for you when you first started out in the 70s? What is the scene like for KISS after a show like you're saying? Has it toned down a little bit, or is it still maintaining a
well, drugs and booze have never been the case with KISS. We've always maintained a drug-free, alcohol-free environment, and anybody who decided to use was out on his butt before they could spell their last name and was probably working in back of a turnstile someplace saying, do you want fries with that?
Your appreciation for the local talent, as you had said, is what I'm curious about.
Well, that's very important because, look, girls spend all their time shopping, trying to look good. They spend all their time looking in the mirror, putting on makeup, putting on perfume. They're lifting him and they're separating him and they're pointing him in our general direction, thank God. And what are we supposed to do? Ignore them? That would be the height of an insult. I mean, I think
you're right.
Yeah, they're trying to make themselves look good, just like a good plate of food. Looks good, the presentation's good, probably tastes good. You better eat some.
That's right.
And don't forget to swallow.
Well, yeah,
you don't want to insult anyone.
Need your preference.
You can't insult women. The least you could do is have some.
Well, Gene, let me ask you. This is the farewell tour, and we keep hearing that it's the farewell tour, but is it really the farewell tour?
I'll tell you the God's honest truth. We're as serious as a heart attack. Here's the God's honest truth is, after 5 presidents, after selling over 80 million albums, after being right behind the Beatles in the number of gold records by any groups in history for Billboard magazine, after being the #1 tour, close to the end of our 3rd decade. In '96, Garth Brooks, our good friend, was #2. After KISS condoms, KISS movies, KISS comic books, you name it, we didn't know what else there was to do. And, then we had a real sort of a sobering thought. The thought was that if we were in the Tom Petty band or the Dave Matthews band, we could stand on stage all day until we were old and gray and never break a sweat. Granted, these are very important musical bands, and I would never take away anything from any band that gets up on stage. God bless everybody. But what we do is back-breaking work, okay? Every step I take on that stage is 8 inches above the ground. I wear platform heels, you see. I'm also a grown man that wears makeup, lots of it. And additionally, there's another 40 to 45 pounds of studs, leather, armor, and all this other stuff that goes into making at least Gene Simmons the Demon on stage. And so at the end of the day, after a 2-hour set, it's exhausting, okay? So, they fly us around. They fly me up to the top of the light system at 8 feet a second. I have to spit fire every night. Paul flies to the back of the hall. Peter gets thrown up and down on this 3-ton drum platform that levitates in the air. There are fireballs and bombs. There's more power on that stage than most third-world countries. There's enough sound coming off that stage to drive 5 pounds off of any fat girl within 1,000 yards of that stage. So like what we do is back-breaking work, and the God's honest truth is, at the end of the day, the way you go out should be with dignity and style and pride, and the best time to go out is when you're at the top of your game. And you got to tip your hat to somebody like Jordan, who quits when he's at the top, because I don't want to be playing the House of Blues 20 years from now,
VH1
and
special.
So the God's honest truth is that the touring entity known as KISS, with Gene and Paul and Ace and Peter, that's going to stop. after this tour, thank you very much, see you, bye. This is, we're serious as a heart attack. It's not going to be like what other bands have done, because we've always said what we meant and meant what we said. But that doesn't mean that all things Kiss are going to stop. We couldn't stop it if we wanted to. There's going to be a Kiss 4-hour miniseries that I'll be producing. There's a movie on CBS called Rock and Roll All Night that's about to start filming, which is coincidentally about Kiss, but it's also kind of a love story. There's talk of a Kiss Psycho Circus theme park with Universal attractions.
Yeah, we had a listeners fax in questions for you, because we know you're very in tune with your fan base. And Steve faxed us asking particularly about the amusement park.
Yeah.
Where's that? Where are you guys?
Well, Universal
locations?
Attractions has theme parks in Los Angeles and Florida. And what they want to do is to add, God knows how whacked out they are. They're probably as crazy as we are. So I can imagine, the big 35-foot ride. Get a ride on Gene's tongue. I wish I could.
You know what, Gene? Jennifer from Greensburg actually faxed us and has the question, how long is your tongue? Have you ever measured it?
Jennifer, there is a Santa Claus. I will make you forget your boyfriend. It's very long. Yeah, and you know what? It has to be long, because girls sometimes are bad all year long, and somebody has to punish them. That's my job. I'm the punisher.
It's nice of you to take care of everybody in that
It's
manner.
important. Look, you can't just get away with it. You can't be bad and get away with it.
No, that would be wrong.
That's right.
On a lot of levels.
And so, listen, any of you guys, if you can't do the job, just call me up. I'll be right over. It's like when you have a pest problem, you call the exterminator, okay?
Exactly.
I'm the punisher. You just call me up. Uncle Gene, my girlfriend's been bad all year long. Okay, that's it. Oh, no, please don't. And then she'll say, don't, please, stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop.
So it's not so much that you want to do it; it's that you feel compelled to do it.
Well, it's my job. Santa Claus comes, once a year. I do it more often.
Gene, so let me ask you, what do you listen to now? What kind of bands are you listening to?
I'm actually a big fan, and this is not meant to be as a joke.
Okay.
I admire anything that's done well. Rock and roll is in a pretty sad state. There aren't any new bands that I can point to and say, "Oh yeah, that's a new kid out of the backwoods of America who's strung a guitar around his neck and he's got something important to say." There's nothing like that out there.
Mm-hmm.
About the most exciting thing that's out there is probably that Jimmy Page Black Crowes tour that I would go see in a heartbeat. Aside from that, rock and roll is in a pretty sad state.
Well, you've been through. You're in now. Is it your fourth decade, pretty much, that you're entering into?
No, this is our third. We've been around almost 30 years. But just to talk about stuff for a second, I think Limp Bizkit and Korn and Kid Rock, it's interesting stuff. It's very clever, but I don't see it as authentic stuff. In other words, it's not for a second. Don't hold your breath. One of these bands walking through a ghetto saying, "Yo, what's up, bro?" That's not gonna fly. Okay, if you're walking down the street in the wrong section of town at 1 o'clock in the morning, yeah, look, I can rap just like you. That's not going to fly. And so even though I think it's clever and done well, I tip my hat to any band that can get out there and sell seats. That means the fans are happy and they're happy. That's good.
Do you think that's a result of the talent not being there or the industry changing behind the scenes?
I blame Seattle. I blame Seattle because even though there was some very important music, what happened is Seattle killed the glamour. Rock and roll has always been about dressing up and being a star. That's why you lift your chin and look to the heavens, because the stars glisten. So as soon as rock and roll started being a lot of guys that look like pizza delivery boys who look at their shoes, or worse, all of a sudden there were a whole horde of bands that looked like Paul Bunyan's children who were chopping trees. All of a sudden guys looked like they were going skiing and mountain climbing. I'm going, where are the stars? People stopped going. You'd have these bands that would sell 10 million records at a pop. God bless them. That's great. Green Day, great. Bands that put out actually some very important records, I thought. And then when you see the bands on stage, I'm going, where are the stars? Everybody looks like they forgot to take a bath, and that's like, where is the star? And so all of a sudden, millions and millions of people who would normally have been there sitting at the concert seats, standing better, go see this band, said, you know what? Forget about it. Forget about you. I'm going to rap. At least everybody looks like a criminal with gold chains and guns, and whether I approve of it or not is not the point. These guys are exciting. They're talking about stuff that's important to them, and then when you see them on stage, they're walking, they're talking, they're breaking a sweat. They're, so I don't blame rap for being popular. I blame rock and roll for being sad and boring. So Kiss has always been stubbornly about being guilty as charged of making a complete spectacle out of ourselves. You're damn right we do. We believe that when you pay a hard-earned buck, that you deserve something more because you're bringing your eyes as well as your ears. And on the day that bands forget that they're also watching you, you're dead. Okay? It's just the fuse has been lit. It's only a matter of time before you're going to be working at some McDonald's someplace.
Last question for you, Gene. Kiss won't tour anymore. Will they record anymore? Will there be any more Kiss albums?
No. We're going to buy ourselves out of our record contract. Okay. Everybody's got different things that they want to do. There may be some stuff we may be doing with the internet, which is being talked about now. There's so much going on besides that. We've recorded and released 33 albums, okay?
Wow.
Again, for those critics which to me is a job without credentials, so I never pay attention to anybody who comments on stuff and gets free tickets while the rest of the population buys them with their hard-earned money. To us, the fans are at the beginning and all, but to those people who have had a problem with Kiss's music, fair enough. And the only thing I'm asking you is how come we're right behind the Beatles in the number of gold records by any groups in history? And in terms of awards and Rock and Roll Hall of Fames and stuff, our awards are right under the K section. Just look up Kiss in your record bits, okay? Because at the end of the day, the beginning and the end of it, as for us, has always been the quintessential American ideal, which is of the people, for the people, by the people. If we're the kings of the hill, we're here because the people have put us here, and nobody can take that away.
And they can see you tonight at the Post-Gazette Pavilion with Ted Nugent and Skid Row opening up. If your girlfriend's been bad, Uncle Gene will take care of her.
I want to tell you something else. Is we want to thank the fire marshal, who's been terrific with us. Usually, we can't sell seats in the back or too close to us on stage on the sides. He's let us open up another 200 seats on either side. So there's about 400 seats that are going to be open because, look, fire marshals look around, they go, you've got all this firepower, you've got 25-foot-high fireballs. We're afraid you're going to shish kebab some of our people.
Right.
And but they've seen that we've been doing this for a long time, close to 3 decades, so I think they feel very confident. So first come, first served. Sean
McDowell in the afternoons here at DVE will be broadcasting live from the Post-Gazette Pavilion. If you get a chance, stop by and say hi to Sean today, too, Gene.
Yes, if I get a chance.
Oh, thanks, Uncle Gene.
You bet.
See you, Gene. Have a great show.
Gene Simmons, bass player for Kiss. The show is tonight at the Post-Gazette Pavilion, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. You're listening to the DVE Morning Show. Time now is 19 minutes before 10 o'clock with Jim Krenn and the DVE Morning Show. We head to the DVE Coffee House, which is brought to you this morning by Nick's Fat City. Featured artist for today is Matt Tichon. Band featuring Matt Tichon on guitar and vocal, Dan Patsen on drums, Joe Iampietro on bass, and Mike Pesta on guitar. How you doing, guys?
Hey, guys.
Hey. Mike, you played with Fraley's Comet, huh? Yeah, cool. That's in keeping with our Kiss theme.
Hey, Uncle Gene, how are you? What's up?
Gene, I think Gene's back in bed already.
Probably right.
Uncle Gene's gargling now.
We'd like to eat lunch with him today, if it's all possible.
Flushing the tongue.
We'll try to set it up with you. Matt, what song are we going to be hearing this morning?
Closer to the Edge, number 2 on our CD, The Gray Area.
The Gray Area, the name of the CD. It's available at NRM and Waves and at all of your shows. What shows do you have coming up?
Tonight I'll be down at the Stone House, which is up above Uniontown, up on the mountain.
Oh, okay.
Saturday, little Green Tree Saloon thing right over the hill from here with Joe's going to sit in with me. We're going to be playing a little bit of electric. And Sunday at My Place and Library, and Monday under the palm trees at Kelly's Riverside Saloon.
It's Matt Tichon with Closer to the Edge from their CD, The Gray Area. Here's Matt live in the DVE Coffee House.
Can you hear me now? Walk between 2 worlds, closer to the edge. When the edge won't save me, take me away. I say it's okay. Oh yeah. Closer to the edge, we don't need what we wanna hear. When the evening comes, there will be fair. In the morning, sun pain still feels clear. And if it falls apart, you'll still be there. There'll still be things to say. So don't go today. In the morning, sun pain still feels clear. When it falls apart, you'll still be there. There'll still be things to say. So don't go today. Can you hear me now? Walk between two worlds, just a little bit closer to the end. Just a little bit. Closer to the end. Knowing who's to say, who's in the game, it's okay.
Matt Tichon
Very
live
nice.
in the DVE Coffee House. Very cool. Closer to the
Excellent.
edge. Matt, you playing a 12-string back there?
No,
Can't hear you. Or see you, rather.
no, a little 6-string.
Nice. Sounds nice and full. Jeff Paul, our engineer, making everything
Jeff
sound
did a great job.
fantastic.
He's a hell of a guy back here.
He's good up there, ain't no doubt. Where are you guys playing at again?
Tonight I'll be by myself at the Stone House in Chalk Hill. Tomorrow night at the Green Tree Saloon. Sunday at My Place and Library, and Monday at Kelly's Riverside Saloon.
That's Matt Tichon, the name of the CD. Once again, The Gray Area, available at all NRMs and Waves and at every show. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Very cool.
Appreciate
Thank
it. The DVE Coffee House brought to us by Nick's Fat City this morning on DVE.
Can you say